Welcome, Asher.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So, for those that don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know what you do?
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Asher Bitz. I gotten into real estate management, property management. Started off in the co-working space in the real estate world, and just have been having fun, kind of being back in this area and growing the business and taking on more properties. So yeah.
All right. So back in this area.
Yeah. So I grew up in Baldwinsville. We had a family farm, Plainville Turkey Farm. Had several businesses. Kind of grew up in that environment my entire life. Then went to school at Lemoyne. Got my master's in real estate development from Georgetown. And then that was an online program, but my wife was doing her master's in New Haven, so we moved down there for a few years. Worked for a marketing firm in Norwalk, Connecticut, and then in 2017, 18, we moved back this way just to be closer to family and friends, and I've been enjoying that. My brother also moved away, came back, so it's been nice to be around his family and whatnot as well. So
yeah.
And
how old are you?
I am going to be 32 in a week.
All right.
So
nice. I'm going to be 33 in a week.
Oh, nice.
That's
fun.
But I thought that was really cool that I could tell and guess that you were a similar age, and but that you're pretty accomplished.
I don't know if accomplished is the right word.
But I mean,
learning
more than maybe like the standard person of our generation,
Yeah.
or the generation after us. But especially like in terms of real estate, like so many people feel like they're never going to own a house. Whereas I think you're building like a portfolio. Real estate and property management.
Yeah, it's no, I'm fortunate. Like I said, being from the area, the family being around from the area, it definitely gives you some help, and I always try never to take that for granted. But no, I think it's just I've always had that. I love to build things. I'm never really content. I tried working in corporate America. It wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like to move fast. I like to do a lot of things at the same time. And so I knew I had to probably do something on my own. Otherwise, I'd be banging my head off a wall.
Yeah, I hear you, yeah. When did you buy your first property?
Outside of our house, about our first property in 2022. This funny story, I actually interviewed there was a marketing firm that had previously been in the building. And I interviewed there in 2015 when I was right out of school, before we decided to move away. Yeah, it was a really cool vibe on the inside. I remember the outside, it didn't look anything special. Fast forward, 2020, COVID hits. Real estate, especially in the office space, kind of died.
Mm-hmm.
Still recovering, but people realize they don't need to be in the office to work, and so there's this massive vacancy. So the building sat on the market for a while. Thought about, I went into it maybe with a slightly different intent, but ended up working out and bought it in 2022.
Thanks. Was anyone in your family big into real estate, buying properties?
Not really. I mean, we were turkey farmers,
Yeah.
7th-generation farm.
Nice.
My brother, we have a feed mill in Jordan, New York. We produce dairy feed, Central New York feed, for all over the Finger Lake area. So I'd been running a lot of our capital projects for that. I knew I liked real estate. The reason I knew that, when I was in Connecticut, I started working at an ad agency. I went to school for marketing and analytics. And when I was there, I realized within probably a year that I didn't love the ad agency life, because you had to represent products sometimes you weren't fully bought into. And for me, that was challenging.
Yeah.
So I had seen a need, though, at that company. It was an experiential marketing firm. So there was a lot of physical assets, we would put on, you go to a tailgate or something like that, and they have booths, and there's brands, playing games and stuff like that. We would put those promotional events on. All of those assets were being managed by a third party. And I was seeing the amount of money we were spending on that. And so I went to the CEO. It was I don't know why he did it, but I was 25 at the time. I'm like, hey, I'll find you a warehouse. I've been in warehousing my whole life. I'll find you a warehouse. I'll build you a distribution center. build you a logistics division in your team. Built him a model. He bought into it, kind of let me run with it. So that was like my first real estate experience, finding a lease, finding a property, going through all the negotiations and the building piece, and kind of fell in love with it. So.
Yeah. Do you feel like that was like one moment where like things like clicked? It's like, oh wait, I really like doing it. Like there's something that when you figure out what like supposed to do, or like what you're meant to do, or just like something that's like a natural fit. I feel like.
Yeah, I would say, like I said, I've always loved to build things. So I knew I did that. I always say, if maybe I could go back, would I go to school for something different? And I would love to be an architect. I'd love to be an engineer. But then on the other hand, it's like, if I had done that, would I have gone the path that I did into business and had the marketing niche or the creative side that I do now? Probably not. So
yeah, no, it's funny like how like it's like there's so many doors you can take,
but it's like one of my dreams was to be an architect too. But like if you choose to go down that path, you shut the doors to a lot of other things, because in any specialized technical work, I think like you need to like consume yourself with that, and you have to be like tunnel vision and like to get really good at your craft.
Right.
Whereas like selfishly, I want to one day like own multiple businesses and just like have a hand. I like the idea of like having a hand in the pot of different things, because like limiting yourself to like one thing is really hard. And I'd rather like hire someone that's really good at it and just like kind of experience it,
I feel like you just got to figure out what you're good at. And one thing I was able to see a lot from my dad in business, my grandfather in business, is like hire your weaknesses. Don't be afraid of the people that can outperform you in certain areas, because you want them on your team. And then it allows you to do whatever you want to do.
Someone said to me recently, don't be afraid to be the dumbest person at your company, because then it's never going to get bigger than you, and like the way your brain works, right? It's like I think as a leader you have to be humble enough to be like, all right, I need to find someone smarter than me at this, right? Like and that's the way you're going to succeed.
I think you do that with contractors, subcontractors. I don't want to necessarily go into the meeting being the expert in everything there, right?
Yeah, and if you try to do everything yourself, you're going to like
burn out.
Burn out, work yourself to death, and then like not even do a good job at the end, at a certain, like when you get started, you have to do a little bit of everything yourself, but it's only so sustainable.
I think that was probably one of my, so when I started ScanWorks, it was just me. We were trying to fill that building, and I was doing everything from running data wire, installing cameras, to setting up the bookkeeping, to setting up the marketing, doing our social media, to finding furniture, to doing like demo work. It's a lot, and it does wear on you. On the other hand, like if you do it for a while, you become rounded and the different aspects of your business really well.
Yeah. So great. Let's talk about that. That's how I came to know you. You own and operate ScanWorks. Co-work space. So how did that all come to be?
So 2000, like I said, we bought that building in 2022. I kind of always had in the back of my mind a co-work. One of the things that I've learned through, I guess, life and a few years I've been around is like simplicity is key. So when we first bought that property and I was looking at it, I was thinking, oh, maybe we'll find 4 tenants. We'll place them in there. It'll be great. We'll cash flow and move on to the next project. Didn't necessarily work out that way. COVID was pretty challenging. I guess the reason I even got into it was I was working at home for 2.5 years, and I just missed people. I missed interacting. A lot of my team at the company I was at was in the UK. So I didn't have a lot of personal relationships with people on a daily basis other than just like immediate family and friends. And then, so when we went and purchased this building, we started to build out the back half. We were looking for anchor tenants, and we were placing a few, but not enough to like cash flow the property quickly. I knew we had to pivot, and again, that was kind of always my backup plan. I thought it would work well in Skinny Atlas, and so that's what we did. So I went and pivoted. We started building out more private offices, built a website, started doing SEO management, some social media creation, kind of telling the story of the business. And people started to kind of buy into it, and we started to fill them one by one. And it actually worked out. I did it in like 14 months. We had like 98% occupancy in 14 months, which is pretty good. Typically, you in real estate, you get anything occupied by 2 to 3 years, you've done all right. So.
Yeah. What kind of people does the co-work space attract mostly?
All walks of life. Yeah. So we've got entrepreneurs that maybe they're working on their first business, maybe they're working on their 5th business. They just like to be in a creative space. But anything from technology, web development, marketing. We've got some people from Amazon that work remote. We got a fair share of just remote workers in general. I think with COVID, people kind of moved away from the larger cities, and a lot of the companies will provide them with a stipend,
right? Yeah.
And then they can use that stipend either in their house or they can use it for a facility like ours. But yeah, healthcare, nutrition, attorneys, all sorts.
Yeah, and even more so, like being Skaneateles and not like Syracuse. Like I'm curious of that different economic picture.
Yeah, so I have friends that own co-works in Syracuse. I have friends that own them in Rochester. Kind of tried to meet a lot of people that were doing it before I did.
Yeah.
Just to learn from them, see what their mistakes are. I think when I opened up ScanWorks, I kind of envisioned a little bit more of an urban environment. I don't know if you've ever been in a WeWork, but it's loud. It's
right. Yeah.
Kind of crazy, but it can be fun. It's kind of like Wall Street, but not. You know what I mean? So anyhow, that's kind of what I envisioned. But you got to kind of listen to your environment, what the community around you needs, and quickly found out that it's not exactly what Skaneateles wanted. They wanted more private spaces. So our facility, I would say, is 80% offices. We have some open seating area.
Do you see a growing need for these spaces? Do you think it's like met in the market? Like there was a lot of stuff with, I have no really insight. I remember there was a big thing with WeWork, and then it was like a collapse of WeWork at some point or stuff with the CEO.
So it's an interesting, I don't know, there's a great documentary on Netflix if you want to learn about it more, but that whole story, I think, put a negative light on co-work. I think there's a huge need for them all over the place. I even saw one out in northern Malone, which is a very rural area, and it does well. I think in general, with COVID, businesses have learned they like simplicity. They don't want to have to deal with the overhead of managing your utilities, managing toilet paper, like whatever it is. It's snacks, food, all that stuff. So I don't think that's going to go away. And I also think as we're building this property management division and company, I'm actually focused on the shared space, but in other areas. So like one of the projects I'm working on for next year is going to be a shared contractor space. So you can have 1,600 square foot base with like a predefined, it might be like a pre-engineered spec, so you can get an office and a parts room or 2 offices, or just a wide open space. It'll have the power, it'll have the utilities, drainage that you need. And then on the front, we'll have some shared conference rooms because again, like these guys, they just want to go work. They don't want to deal with all that. And if they need to meet with a client, we have it all set up for you. So I'm actually moving more in that direction. I don't think it's something that's going to go away.
Do people have trouble like with Google Maps stuff and like SEO, like trying to use co-work space?
In the sense of like having their business address established there?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Google picks up on it pretty quick. They're a little interesting. Like you have to take video footage of yourself.
Yeah, I've had to do that.
That part's, I guess, a little weird. I guess the one nice thing about us, so you can establish your physical business address at our location, whereas like you can't do that with a PO box.
Yeah.
So we actually rent out mailboxes as well and stuff like that. So yeah, there's different needs, but I don't think that's an issue.
And you touched on starting a property management company. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, no, I'm excited. Just launching it in April this year. We've been doing property management for the last 4 years on, our internal portfolio. I started with ScanWorks, bought a building over in, actually it came up for sale next door. It was a little commercial building. So as we were going through this project, bought that building. Then we have another building in Camillus, and we do the property management for other businesses as well. And I'm like, well, we're doing all this work. Why don't we just do it for others? And so started Ward Asset Management. It has marketing and leasing services. So we'll do your traditional leasing services like any brokerage would do. I'm excited I get to work with GWP Commercial out of Syracuse. They hold my license. So that's been really fun. Been learning from him. But one of the things we do differently than every other leasing company is because we use AI in a lot of the applications we do, we can actually build a website for your specific location, drive SEO traffic, and target smaller businesses for your property, which a traditional broker wouldn't do. They would focus on using the Cruxy, the LoopNet, those large sites. So they're looking for the home run hits, the big tenants. We'll fill your property with small local businesses. So that's one division. Second division is a construction and development. So we'll, like right now, we're doing a bid on an Erie Boulevard, dry storage expansion, a couple properties down in Cortland. So we'll do renovations, suite build outs once we place your tenant, and then we follow up with the property maintenance. So if you want us to do preventative maintenance, do inspections on your building, make sure that small things don't become a large problem. We try to catch those and be very diligent with that.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna need you to walk it back a step for an idiot like me that has, besides owning a house, I have not much knowledge of the whole thing between brokerage and
all this. So to someone that's not involved in Upstate,
explain your position in the process. Are you're leasing spaces to small businesses as a brokerage for people that own the property?
Really, there's two, I call them on-ramps to how you would work with us. You could be a small business looking for a space. You can come check out our website, see what we've got available on our listings page. Just reach out to us. The interesting thing about, I found through the ScanWorks cowork, we get all these small independent businesses that are looking for 3 offices and a few desks for a small space, and we get these leads consistently. So I'm why don't we just expand this? So we're building a pipeline of tenants and customers, and then on the other side we're working with landlords. So maybe you've got a property that you've struggled to lease for various reasons. It could be you're in a highly competitive area, maybe your industry has, for that type of building, has kind of had a shortcoming and you need to pivot. So basically, landlords can either be very involved or they can be passive. And for those passive landlords, we'll do everything for you. We'll find your tenants, we'll place your tenants, we'll build them out, we'll sign your lease, and take care of them. If you just want us to just take care of the property, we'll do that for you. If you just want us to find the tenant and you take care of the property, we'll do that for you. It's kind of a la carte.
What is the it's things I never think about, the logistics and operations. Do you find cleaning services?
Yeah. So we'll do everything. Grounds maintenance, plowing. We actually do plowing in-house. We don't do all of these services in-house. We'll hire subs, but we have a extensive network of subs that we work with. But we'll do ground services, landscape, do IT installation if you want, IT management. We can do facility maintenance, so we'll do inspections on roofs, HVAC maintenance. Commercial properties there's more that goes into them than what you'd expect than your own house.
Yeah. Is it strictly commercial? Do you do residential landlords?
When I started, I took on some residential. I'm positioning the company to be commercial. Again, I like simplicity, and when people don't live in their facility, you typically have a little bit more patience and time
Yeah.
less headaches.
Yeah, I find also in a B2B space myself, there's trade-offs, right? It's like I think it's a longer
100%.
game,
Yeah.
harder marketing,
Yeah.
but it's a definitely elevated client and like experience. I think like managing a business versus like, it's easier to find, I think, residential customers for a lot of things, but it comes with its own set of issues.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think, like I said, when you're living out of something, everyone has different interpretations of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And as a management company, you somehow have to decipher that.
Yeah.
And people don't always communicate it to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. And I also like the stability that comes with commercial. So you're typically signing people on 2, 5, 7, 10-year leases. Sometimes you can get more. So,
have you had any big like legal headaches along the process?
as far as like, knock on wood, not too yet, not bad yet. The biggest, I guess, legal aspect I've had, and the biggest lesson I think I learned when I was doing the ScanWorks property, is you need to pay attention to what your municipalities wants. There's a lot that comes in with zoning, with what your local community around you wants.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a residential section, people are concerned about change. People are just kind of naturally resistant to change.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to explain to them why this is good for the community. Teach them about what you're doing. You're not trying to jam something down people's throats, but you're actually trying to build something that's going to benefit the community. And that took me 9 months and gave me a lot of sleepless nights, just trying to deal and work my way through that. But it was a lesson that I'll never forget. And now any project we go into, it's one of the first things we look at from a due diligence perspective.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like a toss-up. Is it probably varies greatly depending on the community. Like Skaneateles is like a very
Established,
like fairly well-to-do, nice area that the town's gonna have some, probably enforce codes like that. The neighbors are gonna care a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch the show Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Okay, because being in the Auburn area, I always view like Auburn as like the Pawnee and like Skaneateles as the Eagleton.
Auburn's great.
It's just funny, like it's just the different subcultures. It's fun.
It is. Well, even in Syracuse, though, you can go from one street and be in a beautiful area, and then the next street it's completely different vibe. Yeah, it's something you gotta pay attention to.
My father-in-law, when we moved up here, we drove, I think, off of 81, drove through Skaneateles. He's like, I drove through like the Hallmark Village. He's like, they must film like every Hallmark movie there. Like it was
they actually
unreal.
have filmed a couple movies. Yeah. It's if you got a drone, it's a great place to fly a drone.
Nice. Yeah. And it's wild that like so many celebrities just pick that lake to like have a vacation house on.
Yeah, I think Bill Clinton vacationing there back in the day kind of opened it up to the world. And I joke about it, like people always hate on our weather and stuff here, but like Central New York's a great place to live. There's it's affordable. We get 4 great seasons. And, like, I love it. That's why we ended up moving back here.
Yeah, no, it's I went to school in Binghamton, so my idea was always just like cloudy gray. It's like everyone's like it is cloudy from like October to April, which it kind of is. But I learned that has to do with like the mountain range and the valleys, and like I feel like up here in the Finger Lakes, Central New York, Western New York, you're kind of past the mountain range, and it's still gray sometimes, but it's a lot better.
Technically, we're like right there with Seattle, but we don't get the rain, I guess.
Yeah. So it's not as gloomy as it may seem. What do you feel the future? Do you pay attention to like the economic headwinds, like the Micron stuff? People are going nuts about like the area. Obviously the area's been through a lot of hard times. I personally feel like it's like Syracuse and all these old industrial cities. I feel like they've hit the bottom. And
I think the worst days are behind us, but I don't know.
I think we have some great leadership specifically for our county. I think they're really trying to revive, and I think there's a revival in Central New York. I'm very optimistic. I think it'll be a fun time to build. And I mean, you see a lot of these. I mean, I see it on the trade side. I mean, every single time I call, a group, they're booked out quite a ways now, and I think it's only going to get worse, unfortunately for us. But I think Micron's going to happen. Who knows to the extent? Is it going to be as big as they say it's going to be? I don't know, but something's going to happen, and you're already seeing businesses move to this area. It's almost impossible to buy industrial land that's not developed. Commercial land that's not developed. But I think the community, the municipalities, the city, they're friendly, they're business friendly at this moment. They're willing to work with you on zoning. So, like one of the investment we did with VIP Structures, they had the Post building recently. They just announced they were able to convert some of the space they were struggling to, the office space, the lease, to residential, no problems. There's a huge housing shortage. Apartments are going up all over the place. I think those are all great signs that things are looking positive for the future. And the other thing, I don't know if you're not from the area, but like I know a lot of people that moved away and now they're moving back. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I moved here 5 years ago. No, not even. A little over 4 years ago. Yeah. And it was during COVID. I was like, I'm onto something big, because on paper it's like affordable, no natural disasters, right. Slower pace of living for me, relatively beautiful, good place to raise families. Right. I was like, everyone's gonna do this. Everyone's gonna leave these big cities, and that didn't really happen. I was one of few, maybe, but maybe I think it's just a longer term shift. It wasn't like immediately within 3 years the cities are gonna empty out. A lot of people moved back to the cities after COVID died down. But I do think the trend has been in more that direction because, remote work also got scaled back a little bit with big things like Amazon and all these things, demanding people go back 5 days a week. But the kind of cat's out of the bag. It's not like it was all remote work all the time. Yeah. But I think people know now and see that it is possible. So people like myself will have that flexibility to move to places like this outside of traditionally very large metro areas that have a lot of corporate jobs.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can still see if you look at the population census, cities are down. Yeah, people have moved back, but not quite to the extent. I think the other difference is people our age now are starting to have families, and they want to be closer to their families, and they might want to be in a more suburban friendly area where there's grass and stuff. So yeah, I really think we'll see the population increase here.
Yeah, and it's personally, it's I want to live my life now. It's by the time I could afford to enjoy life in Manhattan or New York City, it's I would be in my 40s and I'd have missed the whole thing. And then at that point, I just want a house anyway. So
we went to so when we were living in Norwalk, Connecticut. We liked Connecticut. It was a nice area, but it's just $1.5 million for a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, our prices have gone up here.
Yeah.
But not to that extent.
Yeah. I found it by just zooming out on Zillow. We thought about everywhere moved to the south or whatever. But my parents are right outside the city. It's a third of an acre, just a 2-level house. It's probably now after everything, probably $600,000-$700,000. It's versus a quarter of that here,
Right.
It's for more space, more land, and all that.
Yeah.
Just under the radar still, but there's no inventory now, so that's a good sign.
I mean, I think you're seeing the apartments starting to be built. Housing tracts are going up. I know a couple of developers that do residential in the area. The number of neighborhoods going up is just insane. But they're saying 40,000 jobs for Micron. They're going to go quick.
Yeah. So. Did you have a good financial literacy education from your family, Were you a Dave Ramsey person? Like,
It's funny. Like, I did very well in school. Finance, I'll admit, was not one of my best subjects. I'm very much like I have to have the way I learn is through doing. But I was fortunate. I always had good counsel from my dad. I would say like everyone in my family calls me the hustler because like I just I think one of the biggest challenges when you're starting something new is like you're gonna hear all this noise that people are hesitant, like, oh, is that gonna work, or is that the right decision? And you got to believe in yourself and push through. And yes, you obviously with finances, you definitely got to pay attention to them. You got to be mindful. And I've learned some really good tricks about like how to identify good properties to purchase and whatnot. But like a lot of it, I think, is people's troubles are they're not ready to pivot. They're not ready to maybe work through something. And the number of investors that like I hear and talk to that they've been trying to lease a property for 3 years, doing the same thing, but it's not working. Why would you expect it to work on year 4? You're just waiting for the market to change. I think that hustle can eliminate a lot of those problems.
Yeah. What would you say your risk tolerance is? Are you like buy everything in cash, or like arbitrage finance, like to the teeth, like, or anything?
I definitely not finance to the max. I'm not one. So, but I also like to grow. So there's a balance. So that's one of the reasons, to be honest, we want, like I've been focused on expanding the property management services is like to buy real estate. It's cash intensive. It's and you can leverage yourself to the max and grow that way. That scares me a little bit. So we try to not leverage more than 60% on a property. I always put 40% down. And so, going through the brokerage, the property maintenance management, you're putting people on recurring cash. So that allows you to build for your next project. And then when you're ready, you can tackle it. But yeah, it's definitely sometimes you got to pull on the reins. So.
Tell me about yourself, your family, the farm.
Yeah, I mean, I love
the feed.
Yeah, so I am, like I said, born in Central New York, 7th generation on our turkey farm. Loved growing up on a farm. Got to expose to all different aspects of business. Met my wife at Lemoyne. We're married, no kids yet. Hopefully, next year too, we'll start going down that route. But yeah, I mean. Love hunting, love the outside, big basketball guy.
College basketball, NBA?
I like it all. I think they got to fix some of the issues with college basketball right now. With, put contracts in place. Like it's a Wild Wild West right now.
Yeah. Syracuse
is feeling the pain of that right now. But
I'm sure it will change. Right now they're losing money.
Viewership, so something will change.
Yeah. I just put 2 and 2 together, but 7th generation. So when did that start? That's actually that's like people say 3rd or 4th generation, like, oh, that's a lot, but no, 7th generation.
I think so. It was my great grandfather that started the farm. My grandfather really loved turkeys and got focused on the turkey side. And then him and my dad really focused on growing that business. Our feed mill was originally established to produce dairy feed or to produce the turkey feed for the farm, and then. Eventually switched it to dairy feed once we sold the turkey farm in 2007. So.
What do you do to stay grounded through all these different projects? You're involved in a lot of different things.
I'll say it's important to do. I didn't do it at first, and I ended up in the hospital because it was funny. My wife and I did this trip, also kind of crazy. It's called Pack Up and Go, but you don't know where you're going until the day you're supposed to leave. And so you just kind of pack a bag and you open up your envelope and you're like, oh, you're going to Chicago. So that's where we went. We went to Chicago. We're on the Chicago River, and all of a sudden I started to feel like some issues and whatnot. I ended up in the hospital. They thought I was having a stroke. And then come to find out I'm sitting in the hospital bed that night. We were only there like 5 hours, and they're like, no, you're just really stressed. And I'm like, okay, I got to do something about this. So for me, like I got into, I liked to golf when I was younger. I picked that back up. I just joined my first men's league for basketball.
That is very different than when you're 20.
That his body is not as forgiving at 32.
Yeah.
And then try to, make time weekends, spend time with my wife, whether it's hiking, whatever we're doing. It's just, you got to make time for yourself. You got to make sure you're getting enough sleep.
Yeah. when you try to do too much, like I was going through like this like health journey, and I was like started boxing, and all of a sudden I started getting this like pounding headache. Where like I was convinced I had like a brain aneurysm, or something wrong. I went and like got MRIs. They're like, you don't need one. I was like, no, I definitely need this. Like I'm convinced like I have
Tension headaches?
tumor. Yeah.
And then they're like, no, you just push some yourself to go hard, and you don't feel like
I literally the same thing. I
Yeah.
was in an MRI machine, thought I was having a brain tumor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I guess the story is you gotta take care of yourself, and it's still like it's hard. Like it's hard for me to pull back, but occasionally you feel it in your body, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll be okay if we wait an extra week to get this one project done.
Yeah, it feels sometimes counterintuitive. It's like the answer is just more. I just got to work hard and just stay up late and just like finish
through,
this.
yeah.
But if you do that 4 days in a row, then you burn out, and then you're worse off than you were at the starting point.
Yeah, I think that's my dad always said that. Take care of yourself. Growing up, he still says it to me all the time, and I think I just kind of always ignore it. I'm like, I'm young, I'll be fine. But gotta listen to your parents sometimes.
Yeah. What does your ideal day off look like?
I'm not good at sitting still. Like I said, I do like to golf. It depends if it's sunny out. I like water too, so my wife and I go for maybe like a boat ride or something like that. But normally, I work probably 6 days a week, partially. Like it's hard for me to take an extended period of time, but we like to travel. Went to Colorado last year, had a really great trip. Hopefully, maybe do a little bit more traveling this year. So.
Nice. We can move to what I'll call the lightning rounds.
Okay.
We touched on it earlier, but like make the case for living in upstate New York or central New York.
There's no fires. There's no hurricanes. It's beautiful. We have green grass. Like I said, I think for right now in Syracuse, I think you're going to see growth. I think you're going to see real estate values go up. So, I think it's a good place to put money right now. And we have beautiful lakes. Love the vineyards and all that.
Where would you go if you had to leave?
Oh, we've talked about this. I just said I'm trying to avoid hurricanes, but we did talk about going down south for a while. Though recently we did travel to Colorado. Colorado was gorgeous, and we love hiking. And that's an up and coming area. It's growing, so I don't know, probably out west somewhere.
Okay. All right. Wegmans or Costco?
They're so different. That's like apples and oranges.
They both have their own cults.
We have a membership to Costco. We like Costco, but we're also two people, so we can't go ham on Costco. So I like Aldi's. It's cheap.
Okay.
I'm a cheap
All right.
guy.
Yeah. Third party. All right. Favorite regional food, upstate, New York food.
Ooh. We make. I don't know if it's. I guess it's more regional to Binghamton, but we make chicken speedies all the time. That's
Nice.
like our summertime barbecue food: chicken speedies, corn on the cob, salt potatoes. The Syracuse staples. But it's hard to beat on a nice sunny day.
Yeah. I'm a big Speedy fan. Went to school there, so.
Yeah.
What would you say? Do you have like a favorite hidden gem in the area, whether a food place, outdoor place, anything?
Hidden gem. I'm a big coffee guy. So I feel like I've been to every coffee shop in Syracuse. I'm a big cold brew guy. I liked Good Eats Coffee and Scam, so I'm often there. Also, we've got Freedom of Espresso. I love one of the things I found out last year. I got an e-bike, and I love to cruise to the coffee shop,
Nice.
hang out for a few hours, head back. So, yeah.
Nice. Favorite TV show theme song?
I don't know why. This is not my favorite song by any means, but Hawaii Five-0 just keeps popping into my head. But
Okay, that's the second answer for that.
it's just a catchy song.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice. Do you have any hot takes? Do you have something that you believe that maybe most people don't agree with?
I had like a pet peeve. I was talking about this the other day. No, I can't think of it. I have a diesel truck. I hate when people park or they're getting gas at a diesel. But there was a better one I can think of. You can cut that one out.
Nice. Advice you give your younger self?
I said it earlier. I think like I said, if I could go back to school or something, like would I tell myself, you should you like to build, go become an engineer? And I'd say like no, because I would have missed out on the other opportunities. I don't know. I think you've got to. Life is interesting. You got to take the doors that come to you. Take a chance. I've definitely done that, but maybe I wish I would have done it earlier. I know I'm not that old, but just be ready to push through when people are telling you or they're second guessing you or whatnot, because you got to believe in yourself and anything you're doing. And if you're passionate about it, I truly believe you can do anything if you're invested in it.
What's next for you? Projects, goals, dreams?
I think, we talked about it. It's capital is one of the things we're trying to pull away right now. And so for our next project, we want to do that shared contractor space. But really, it's just building out those divisions. I think one of the things I've learned through life is like it's easy to become distracted. You've got to focus on the things that you do and do them well. Like and focus on the relationships and the people that you serve and work with. And if you do that, I think you'll be successful. And so that's what my focus is right now. I don't know. I can't. I used to think you have to have a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and if you hadn't hit exactly what you wanted to at those moments in time, that you were failing, and that's just not how life works. Yeah. There's so many different circumstances and stuff that comes into it.
Hindsight is 20/20, and it's like, but it's like all those mistakes and all those things always lead you to where you are now. So it's like it's hard to have regrets. It's you can't see them sometimes at the time, but they all lead you somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what makes life kind of fun too.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Final advice. What would you say to someone who's feeling stuck and wants to build something?
Nike, just do it. Like go for it. It's gonna be uncomfortable. You might end up in a hospital. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. You get those moments like. You gotta, I think people don't do this enough. I know in my life, like I always am reaching and grabbing. And sometimes my wife's like, are you ever gonna be content? And I would say, I'm always gonna try to grow. So probably not. I'm probably never gonna be technically content. But you have to take moments to appreciate like what you've done. And that fuels you to keep going.
I think you can be content, but don't get comfortable.
Right.
Yeah. Push that comfort zone and keep growing. But appreciate the present. I promise we didn't coordinate wearing black. It took me 40 minutes or so to realize that. And I was like, oh wow, really?
When I walked in, I'm like, oh, this worked out perfectly.
Yeah. Nice. Well, Asher, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure talking to you, and excited to hear good things in the future.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.